We spend a lot of time here on GCN advising you about what you should do to maintain your bike, but very rarely do we say what you shouldn't do. We've probably all been there, applying more and more pressure to a fragile yet seemingly immovable bolt, only to find that instead of loosening it, we either round off the head or strip the threads, then requiring us to drill out said bolt. Now, to avoid doing that in the first place, only use tools that are in good condition. So stop using them as soon as they get rounded off, particularly Allen or hex keys. Now, this is not a tool anymore. This is a blunt instrument. And then when it comes to the bolts themselves, always prep them as per the manufacturer's instructions. So that may be applying grease to the threads or indeed some kind of locking compound. A common contributing factor to that previous point could very well be over-tightening the bolt in the first place. And it is very easy to get into the habit of that. You may well think, well, that's the bolt that's stopping my face from hitting the tarmac, so I better make sure it doesn't come loose. But that is the wrong attitude. Over-tight bolts can indeed break entirely or simply damage expensive other parts of your bike that are next to it. So the simple solution is to buy a torque wrench. Now, over time, you may well end up being able to judge exactly what 5 Newton meters feels like, but the fact is, it's probably an awful lot less than you might think. Removing your pedals needn't be a job that is fraught with danger. But yet, for some reason, I'm sure we've all got a story about that time where we casually sliced open our hands on our chainrings. The trick, simply to get round it, is just to take a little bit more time over the procedure and don't rush it. So, for example, you start loosening the pedals in a position where your wrench or your Allen key is not then going to put your hand at any risk, either of skinning your knuckles on the ground or going anywhere near your chainring. And then, of course, also making sure that your chain is in your big chainring will sort out any form of chainring danger. If you are using through axles, you can look away now. But for the rest of us using quick releases, make sure that your wheel is in straight before you start trying to adjust your brakes or your gears. You think that you'd never make this mistake, but believe you me, it's very easy to do it, especially if your bike is in a work stand and you're putting your wheels in, only to find that having then spent 15 minutes adjusting your gears and fettling your brakes, that actually, when you put the bike back on the ground, the wheel is not in straight. Speaking of work stands, as a general rule, lightweight bikes do not like being clamped. In fact, there's pretty much only one place you can be almost sure that you'll be okay clamping your bike in a work stand, and that is your seat post here. They are, by and large, built to be clamped. But there are still exceptions, unfortunately. Integrated seat posts don't like being clamped, and some aero seat posts do not like being clamped either. So in those cases, you will need a different work stand, one generally that will clamp your front quick release, your forks, and indeed will then rest on your bottom bracket. Hold on a minute, surely no one is going to get this one wrong. Well, hang around a bike event for long enough and you will definitely hear that telltale gunshot sound as a tyre blows off the rim. You can only hope that yours isn't the head that's right next to it. And it is, let's face it, all too easy to fit a new tyre, pump it up, only to find that the bead isn't seated quite correctly in one part. And then as the pressure builds, it suddenly blows off the rim. So to get around this, make a point of spending 10 seconds just checking the bead of the tyre is seated correctly, perhaps after you've got maybe just 30 psi in there, and so that it will not blow off the rim at that stage. It's definitely 10 seconds well spent. Well, yes and also no. Some stuff might not be broken as such, but without maintenance, it might well be soon. So don't assume that you can leave anything on your bike and still expect it to work. So common areas for neglect are leaving your seat post in place, and then only then finding that when you do need to move it, it has completely seized. Or indeed your chain, which will probably work brilliantly until the moment that it doesn't. And then when you replace it, you realise that it's also prematurely worn out your cassette and also your chain rings, and then tripling the bill at your local bike shop. Well, that is probably the tip of the iceberg on how not to look after your bike. There are undoubtedly many, many more. I mean, we haven't even got started on the fact that you probably shouldn't try any maintenance procedure completely naked. But we'll leave that for another day. In the meantime, do make sure that you have subscribed to GCN. To do it, it's completely free, and every Monday, without fail, we will give you a maintenance video. So in that case, you'll be in the right place. For another simple maintenance video, why not click just up there and you get through to 5 essential roadside maintenance skills that you will need to know. And if it is a bit of nakedness you're after, you could always try watching that one over there, which is what not to wear when cycling.